Yo, welcome back to my channel. Listen, as always, I'm so glad that you're here. As always, I'm so glad that you're back. I'm so glad that I'm back. Listen, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. And please be sure to hit that bell notification so that way you can be notified anytime I upload. So let's state the obvious. It has been a while. It's been a minute since I have sat behind this camera. It's been a while. Listen, I have been busy. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot going on. There were some days I just did not feel like sitting behind this camera and just talking due to, you know, mental health issues, due to just being busy and all of that. But I'm back and I'm better than ever. At least I think so. So what have I been up to? Well, of course, I've been working. Your boy went to New York. The last time we talked, I think I was on my way to New York then. I went to New York to see one of my favorite artists, PJ Morton, in concert. So that was really good. Like, I really enjoyed that trip. I went to see PJ Morton in concert and it was a good time. He just killed. He did an awesome job. I've just been working. And what else? And I was on a dating show. Let's get into it. All right, so I was on a dating show called The Kendra G Show. Now, if you don't know who Kendra G is, if you've been living under a rock recently, Kendra G is a journalist and a media personality. And right now she has a online dating show that is taking the internet by storm. Like, it's crazy, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. So yeah, your boy was on the show. So I don't even know how I even came across Kendra G. Like, I think I was at work one day and I think I was scrolling on YouTube and I saw one of her, you know, videos, and I was just like, let me see what this is about. It's a matchmaking show. So they was on there trying to, you know, find them somebody, and Kendra was asking them questions. So I watched one episode and then I'm at work, and next thing I know, one episode turned into 5, and then the next day I was back binging, you know, old episodes from last year, and I just got hooked. I didn't even know who Kendra G was. So I was like, yo, this show is crazy. And at the time, I think Kendra was still at either 60,000 or 70,000 subscribers. Right now, she's well over like 100,000 subscribers, like past that or whatever. The show is gaining momentum. It's really good. She asks you certain questions about, you know, what type of person, what type of, you know, partner you're looking for. And what you do, you just answer the questions. And so whoever is interested in you, if they're watching the show, what they do, they reach out by way of Facebook or by way of your Instagram. And they, you know, you guys go from there. So while watching the show, one of the things that's a big component of the show, of course, is Kendra asking the questions and the guest that's on. But one of the big components of the show is the audience, the people in the comments. Because the people in the comments, they don't miss. Like, they spare no feelings. Like, they don't care. The comments be eating people up. And so that was one of the things. And so every time I would watch, I would always kind of visualize, like, you know, some of the things that I would, you know, answer if I was on the show or whatever. I would always think to myself, like, what would the comments say? So that's one of the things. Like, you got to have tough skin. If you're going to go on Kendra's show, you got to have tough skin, because the audience, the comments, they don't play fair sometimes. So like I said, like, you got to have tough skin to go on the show. So what happened was I just came back from New York. And you know, when you come back from vacation and you had a good time, you still kind of feel that vacation vibe. You know what I'm saying? You feel like, you know, where you're looking your best and you're kind of just feeling good. You almost, you know, about to quit your job. You know, when you come back, you still have that vacation vibe going on. And that's what it was. I just came back from vacation like a few days before from New York. And I was sitting in my living room going over some music. I was trying to record some music, and I'm in this like beginner stage of learning how to mix and record, you know, music and all that stuff. So that's what I'm messing around with in my free time. So I was trying to record this cover. To post on social media. And I was, you know, just doing some things wrong. I was getting frustrated. So I was just like, I'm about to go to bed. And so usually what happens is I used to, at some point, during that time, I used to watch Kendra the next day, because she comes on like, I think at 9 or something like that. I think she comes on at 9. So I was going to watch Kendra the next day at work. But I got so frustrated with trying to, you know, record the song. I was like, you know what? tonight we about to get on Kendra. The reason why I don't stay up and watch Kendra, and why I used to not stay up and watch Kendra at 9, is because my alarm goes off at 5:30 for my 5:30, gym session. And I'm in the gym in the morning, every day. So I try to be in bed sometimes by 8:30 or whatever. But this night, I was like, we about to do it. I was already at my workstation. I had my, keyboard plugged up. I had my little ring light set up, and not my ring light. I had my little light box set up. So I was just like, let's just go ahead and click request tonight to be on. I don't know what it was, but it was an overwhelming confidence just came over me, because how I know is because I'm one of those type of people that I don't do nothing without like a fresh line. Like, I try not to get on here without like a fresh line. I'm one of them type of people, of course, that if I'm meeting a girl, if I'm, I try to be at work, with a fresh line. And I just came back from vacation. So, like my vacation cup was wearing off. So it wasn't all that fresh. I didn't even think about that to afterwards. I was like, wait a minute. So I know it had to be something. I set up my stuff and I'm like ready. I poured me some wine. And I was just like, let's go. Let's do it. So I click request to be on, and Kendra picks me. She picks me. And of course, she asks, she goes through a level of questions. And I'm not going to go through all the questions that she asks. But coming on, the first thing that she asks, of course, is your name. So I tell her my name, like my name is Mark. And she asks how old you are. Now, what's funny is I was so nervous. I am 32 years old. But I was so nervous on the show that night that I literally told her that I was 33. And it wasn't until after I watched the interview that I was like, wait a minute, I ain't 33.
Ain't no 80 years old.
Well, just about 76 to be exact.
No, 75.
75.
I was like, I'm 32. But I was so nervous. I don't know why 33 came out my mouth. I tell her I was 33. And, she goes through the questions, of, like what city you're from. And I tell her what city I live in. And she asks, what do you do for a living? And so I tell her, I was just like, I told her, what I do for a living. And I tell her, I'm a singer-songwriter that performs, from at different, venues in my city. And anytime you say that you're a singer-songwriter, what Kendra do is that she'll ask you to sing and perform on the spot. So I kind of knew that she was going to do that. So just in case that she was going to do that, I was prepared. Like, I was by my keyboard. So at the time, I was working on a cover by Snow Allegra called I Want You Around. So I was just like, let me just go ahead and sing the song. Never sang it a day in my life. So I sang that song, and Kendra was like, okay, you can sing. She was like, you actually can sing. And so we get to the interview, and she was just like, when you get married, do you plan to sing for your wedding? And I'm the type of person, I guess as most guys are, like, I don't really visualize my wedding. Like, I'm going to leave that to... I guess my future wife or fiance or whatever. Like, I don't visualize my wedding. But one thing I do know that I've always planned to do for my reception, I am going to have a live band, but I do want to perform a few songs at my reception. That's as far as I got. So I tell her that. So she was like, okay, cool, nice. Because I kind of already have the song picked out. I know. It's a song called Stone in Love with You. I think that's one of the songs. I think that's one, Stone in Love with You, by the Stylistics. Some of y'all may not even be old enough, but it's by the Stylistics. But anyway, that's one of my favorite songs. As you know, I love music from the 70s. Sorry, I am literally doing this on top of my head. And let me just say, this interview took place in August. Like, I have been trying to do this video since August. So I'm doing this review on from the top of my head, trying to remember this from the top of my head. But I have some notes written down. So Kendra asks, she asked me, what type of woman am I looking for? And I told her, I was like, first and foremost, I want a woman that loves God. Like, that is a big deal for me. Like, I want a woman that really loves God. Like, I really want a girl who has a heart for God. And I was just like, I want a girl that is nurturing. I want a girl that is feminine. And I want a girl that has a passion for travel. Like, travel is big for me. So I answer that. And then next, Kendra asks, what are your deal breakers? And I tell her, I said, deal breaker for me is a girl that smokes. Can't do it. A girl that smokes, a girl that just cuss a lot, a girl that, trap music is just who she is. Like, it's one thing to listen to trap music. Like, I listen to trap music when I come from the barbershop. You know what I'm saying? You're feeling fresh. But I'm talking about a girl who that is who she is. Like, that ratchet music is just her essence. So I was like, that's a deal breaker for me. So I go through all that, and I was like, ultimately, a deal breaker for me would be a girl that just does not love Jesus, like a girl that just does not love Jesus. So we're just, you know, getting through the interview, and Kendra says, you know, she says, you know, I see that you're heavy into God, you're heavy into church and all that. She was like, so, you know, like, would you wait until marriage to have sex, and, you know, with your future person? Ultimately, yes. You know, I would want to meet a girl where her desire is to honor God by not having sex into marriage. And of course, it would not be hard for me. It just would not be hard for me to not have sex into marriage with the person that I'm supposed to be with the person that want to honor God with me. I just, you know, even with my female friends, like, I find it strange when I talk to my female friends and I hear their stories about how they meet guys and dudes just be thirsty to get them over to the house, where dudes be like literally pissed, you know, because, you know, a girl won't let them, you know, hit on the first date. Like, I've never been that guy. Like, I've never been that guy. My thing is, you know, if I invite you over, we gonna play a card game, might watch a movie, let's conversation or whatever, and I'm not inviting you over, you know, on the first date anyway. I've never been that guy that's just been so in a hurry to, you know, kind of, you know, get it in and let's do, like, that's just not my thing. So especially if I was to meet a girl where she wants to honor God, of course, for me, that just would not be a problem to wait. So I did say that. Now here's where things get interesting. So later on in her interview, Kendra literally had to check some of the women. If you watch the show, when Kendra says, let me address this after the interview, you already know something about to go down. So watching that, Kendra had to check a few women because, you know, they were like, oh, you know, he's corny. He's talking about God. He's talking about church. He's corny. And Kendra was like, well, if she was like, here's a guy who don't have kids. Oh, and that was another thing too that Kendra asked me, would I date a woman with kids? And me personally, it's just not my preference to date a woman with kids. It's really not. So I said no. So Kendra was like, y'all say all the time y'all want a God-fearing man. Y'all want a man who don't have kids. Y'all want a man, you know, who wants to honor you and loves Jesus and all of that. But here is one, and some of y'all call him corny. She was like, well, that's stupid. Continue to date the guys that are in jail or just got out of jail. Like, Kendra went in, like, she went in. And what I found interesting, like, that night, I remember hearing that, and I just remember just not being bothered at all. Like, that did not bother me at all. And I'm going to tell you why. Like, even that night, I was just like, had this been about like 4 or 5 years ago, I probably would have been somewhere Saudi. Like, but because I have done the work, and because I have, you know, done the whole journey process of just, you know, loving myself and finding out who I am and what I'm called to, that did not bother me at all. And the reason why it didn't bother me for two things. Number one is because it just reaffirms who I am. Like, I've never been a hood nigga. I've never tried to be one. That street life, it just never been me. Like, I've always been a dude that I just am who I am. Like, I've always been different. Like, I've been told that my whole life. Like, people have said to me my whole life, like, oh, you talk proper, or you know, you different. You're not the typical black guy. You know, I've heard that all the time. So I've never lived my life in a way, well, I have, but what I'm trying to say is now I don't live my life in a way where I try to fit in, or I'm trying to fit some stereotypical, you know, image of what you think black is, or, you know. And it did make me think, like, man, where are the women that look like me, that love God, that love a guy who is Christian and who, you know, who listen to Jodeci and John Legend and but also plays Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra. Like, where y'all at? You know what I'm saying? So that did cross my mind, like, but it didn't faze me at all. And then number two, the reason why that did not get to me is because it reaffirms who I'm called to. You know, I am called to all my guys out there that are like me, that grew up, and you were not that guy. Like, you were not that guy that women were going after because you talked proper, or because you was a church boy, or because you were different, or because you liked other things that were not considered black. And that's why I say that all the time over here on my channel. We're about faith, transparency, and positivity. If you trying to come over here to find out how to get laid and how to, you know, you want to listen to content where we, you know, bash women and, you know, nah, this ain't the content for you. I am, like, called to people, men and women, that's on that self-love journey, you know, that you're still healing from things that happened to you in your childhood and from high school, and you just loving yourself. Like, we different over here. So let's get to the main thing. And the main thing is the results, the women that reached out. There were about, it was less than 100. There were women that reached out to me that night. And every woman that reached out to me, they were so nice. Like, I had so many women. I had women compliment my skin and compliment my looks and all of that. But there were so many women that just kept saying, like, you were the most normal guy on there. And what's funny is because if you watch the show, you will know what they mean when they say that. Because there be dudes on there that just got out of jail, got 5 kids, talking about, I don't want to date no chick who got kids, but I ain't got no job. I just want a chick, it'd be foolishness on there. So it was so many women that said to me, like, you were one of the most normal guy on the show. I got that compliment, that statement so much. Now, I had women that reached out. I had women that followed me, that just kept complimenting my aura. And all of that. And it felt good. It felt good. As far as connections, like, did I make any connections? Do I feel like it was successful? I would say no. I would say no. And one of the reasons being is because, so let's go back to the interview. Kendra did ask me, she was like, does your woman that you want, does she have to look a certain way? I literally said, I was just like, I desire a woman that's in shape, And anytime you say something about, wanting somebody that's in shape, Kendra has this thing where she does the Kendra cam, where you have to stand up and show your body. And Kendra was like, okay, you in shape, I see you're in pretty good shape. So cool. So I was just like, I prefer a woman that's in shape. I prefer somebody that I'm attracted to. And so here is the thing about that. My take on it is for 2 reasons. If I'm up every day, 5:30, hitting the gym, trying to enhance and get rid of this and slimming down, and I'm seeing results and I'm meal prepping, I kind of want the person that I'm with to kind of have a similar routine. You know what I'm saying? Not talking about competing or being a female bodybuilder, but I just kind of want somebody that's healthy and in shape. That's just my thing. And then number 2 is specifically for accountability. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I have days where I just be like, man, F the gym, F meal prep, and I found myself in Popeye's drive-thru. But if I, talking to somebody and I'm telling them like, yo, babe, I really want some Popeyes today. She like, nah, you gotta hold out. You gotta chill out. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be cool. Your cheat day is in like 5 days. Hold on to that. And it's vice versa. Like, if I'm dating a girl that's in the gym and we got goals, and I'm like, yo, babe, no, don't go over there and get that donut and that Popeyes. Matter of fact, come over here and I'm gonna make you a smoothie, and make you feel all good inside. That's what I want. It's funny because I literally, I had matched with this girl on Hinge recently, and she had asked me, she was like heavy into the gym, in shape, fine, all of that. And she was like, do you have an Apple Watch? And I don't. And I was like, nah. And she was like, oh, because I wanted us to hold each other accountable for our workouts. And I'm like, come on. And I'm like, I've never had that. Like, I literally have never had that. So I was like, hey, that's what's up. And so I was just like, that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? On the show, the people that reached out, I'm just going to be honest, like, there was nobody. Now, there were some people that had kids. There were some women that were like older. There were some women that was just like nice to talk to. But there was nobody that I felt like I was physically drawn to. And I think the problem is that this whole, physical attraction topic is so sensitive. And I'm going to be honest, like, physical attraction is a big thing for me. It really is. It's a requirement. Like, I can't dance around it and be like, oh no, just talk your character and just love God. Like, I have to want to touch you. I have to want to embrace you. Listen, I love that you love God. I like that you're nice. I like that you're nurturing, but I want to touch you, like, and I want you to feel the same way. So physical attraction is a big thing for me. And here is the thing. The reason why this is such a sensitive topic when it comes to physical attraction is because I feel like when people say, hey, I'm not attracted to that person, or hey, I want somebody that's attractive, I think what people hear is, I gotta have the top of the top. I gotta have a baddie. I gotta have a, and it's just like, that's not it at all. I've always been the type of dude where I feel like I like girls that are just not average, but they're not like Instagram baddies. Like, I like girls that are just, natural, that are just, casually beautiful. I'm not that dude that's like, oh, I gotta have a 10. I gotta have a 10. She gotta be Instagram baddie. She gotta, I just want somebody that I'm attracted to. Or I say all the time, I consider myself a 4. I just need a 6. And together we can be a 10. That's just all I'm saying, I feel like when it comes to this whole topic, because I was telling my coworkers at the time, they was like, you ain't found nobody from the show? And I was just like, I was telling my coworkers, I was just like, nah, like I just, some of them had kids. I was like, but the ones that were nice, I just wasn't physically attracted to them. And they were like, man, what? What? I mean, they thought it was crazy. Like, they thought I was like, so my coworker was like, oh, you gotta have Holly Berry then. And I was like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. That's not what I'm saying at all. Like, I just want somebody that I'm attracted to. And that doesn't mean that, to society standards, they are the top of the line. I just want them to be attractive to me. You know what I'm saying? My oldest sister, she just turned 50. She's like, when you get 50, that's not going to, well, I'm not. She's like, that's not going to matter. Well, I'm not 50 yet. You know what I'm saying? Looks still matter to me. It was a girl on there that reached out. She was actually in my city. I think she was cute. I think she was cool. I think she was cute. And she actually reached out, and I don't know. She reached out to me and was just like, hey, I don't go to the gym, and I'm, a little bit overweight, da-da-da-da. But, so you wouldn't want me, because I actually hit her up. She inboxed me, and I literally said to her, I was like, hey, let's meet up, And she was like, nah, whatever. And at first she was like, yeah, let's do that. Hey, let's do that. And so she sends me that message, and I was just like, okay, okay. So I was like, well, let's still meet up. And I was like, you want to come to the gym with me? Because that's what I do. And she was like, what time do you go to the gym? And I was like, at 6. Never heard from that girl. Never heard from that girl again. The girl left me on red, and the next day she was commenting on my other stories and my other pictures and hitting like. But when it came to that message, like about linking up and possibly going to the gym, it was just like, she was like, nah, you can keep that. It's funny enough, on the show, there was a girl that was on the show like a few days after I was. And I'm not gonna lie, when I saw this girl, I was like, okay, she's cute. Like, she's cute. She's beautiful. I saw her on the show, and I was like, oh, wow. So, make a long story short, about 2 days later, I'm laying in bed, and the girl literally reached out to me. And I was like, oh, wow. So, we started talking, and literally, we were talking about, I asked her about her experience on the show, and she was like, oh, only, scammers and rappers and baby daddies reached out to me. So, I thought it was funny. And she was like, my experience wasn't good. And I was telling her about my experience. I was just like, I had women that had kids, or women that I just wasn't attracted to reach out to me as well. Or, women that lived far out, and it wasn't a success for me as well. So we began to talk. And I said to her, I said, well, when I saw your segment, I was literally on the treadmill, and I was just like, girl's cute. She's talking right. She has, things that I value. She said, I saw your segment, and I was driving, and I was like, let me pull over, because he's saying some things. What he's saying is very interesting. And she was like, yeah. She was like, but I'm 5'3". I only date guys that are 5'11" and up. So with that being said, it literally brought me what the whole show experience overall, and I'll wrap up the show experience by saying this. I mean, I'm glad I was on the show. It was nice for what it was. I still have people that's reaching out or whatever. This is what it taught me being on the show. What it taught me is that this whole matchmaking thing and finding somebody that you're compatible with, is finding somebody that you like, is just not that simple. And I feel like some of us make it harder than it is. It's just not that simple. It's not simple as, here's a Christian girl and there's a Christian guy and then y'all should be together. No, because here's the thing. We all want what we want. And for some of us want what we want, it's pretty reasonable. It's pretty understandable. It's pretty reasonable. You want a guy with a job. You want a girl who is healthy, and that's reasonable. But then you'll have somebody, like, it was a girl on the show who was like, I just won't date a guy who, who wear flip flops. And there was another girl on the show who was like, I won't date a guy who don't have, TSA pre-check. And it's just like, some of the things that we want is just like, can that be adjusted? And I think it begs to differ, like, what do you want and why do you want what you want? And I feel like it is very important in our age and in our time that we really take inventory and say, like, what is the type of person that I desire and why do I desire this so much? A few months ago, I was sitting here on a weekend, and I literally sat down and I wrote down everything I want my woman to be about, everything I want my woman to look like, everything I want my woman to have. And I was reading over my list and I was just like, I don't think my list is crazy at all. Now, one of the things on my list that I had written down was I wanted my woman the person I meet, I would like to have somebody that is more, have more knowledge in technology. Like I am, when it comes to technology, a lot of times I'm not that dude. Like I'm trying to do better with my lighting, with my thumbnails, and understanding. But I was just like, there was a girl, and I'm not gonna say her name, but there's a girl on YouTube where her and her husband, they recently just got married, and I think she do all their like, editing and footage and software. And I was like, I actually like that. Like, I would love a girl to come in and be like, hey, babe, let me boss up your videos. Let me boss up your Instagram reels. Let me boss up, this. I would love that. That's just a personal desire of mine. Because, that's just not what I do. But if I don't meet a girl that do that, and she has all the other qualities, I would be okay. You know what I'm saying? But I think that there are so many unrealistic and unnecessary things that we want. Like if you listen to the show, when you hear somebody say, what does this person want? There are certain things that's like, why? You know what I'm saying? Why you want that? Like, why? Like, why? Even with the whole height situation, like a lot of women that get on the show that's like, oh, I gotta have a guy that's taller than me. I gotta have a guy that's 6 feet, but you are 5'2". It's funny because one night recently, earlier this year, I had went out one night and I was talking to I took Uber to the this little spot, and on my way home that night I was talking to my Uber driver about just trying to get out and finding a woman and all that, and he was older than I am. I would say about in his 40s, and we were just talking about the state of how dating is today. And my Uber driver said something. He was like, man, in the 90s it wasn't like this. He was like, in the 90s, all of this stuff about height and about it just wasn't like this. And I was telling somebody the other day, I said, I feel like a lot of this have to do with the influence of media as far as music or, what they see on the media. Because it reminds me of, how when you were a kid and you are, when you are a kid and you have all these toys, you have these toys that you normally play with, but then what happens is you will see a commercial on the TV for a new toy and you like, okay, F these toys, I want that one. Like me personally, I think I said it before, I'm a hopeless romantic. I ain't even by the front. I'm a hopeless romantic. So a lot of times I follow, a few of those, black love pages on Instagram, where somebody is, making a reel of them on a vacation, or the next reel is them spending an anniversary. I love those channels. I ain't even gonna front. So I follow quite a few of those black love channels on Instagram. And it's very funny to me sometimes that 80% of those pictures and the reels of the couples that they feature, it's always a tall dude and a girl that's shorter than the dude. It's never like same height couples. It's always the dude is taller than the girl. And I feel like because they know that their audience, so their audience is probably girls who are sitting around, and myself, girls that are sitting around watching, following those channels, those pages, and the girls are looking like, oh, I want that aesthetic. I want the dude that's my height. I want that aesthetic. I want that aesthetic right there where the girl that's looking up to him, that's what I want. Even when people are like, I don't want nobody with a missing tooth. Like, y'all, that man or that woman or that man can get some money together and get that fixed. You know, it's just like certain things. Like I only want a woman that got a house. I want to, like, we have all of these certain requirements, but I really challenge you to look at Kendra G show and just listen to what people say they want. And I highly challenge you to take inventory, to write out what you want and to ask yourself, what is it that I want in a future person? Want them, and begin to monitor your desires. And if you're a person that's Christian, pray about it. Say, Lord, open my eyes. Maybe I'm 5'3" and the dude is 5'5". And Lord, open my heart for that. You know, and maybe, you know, the girl is, you know, she got one kid and I'm like, no. Oh no. But Lord, open my heart. So I don't know. I'm not trying to get you to change your standards or anything. I'm not trying to get you to settle, but I'm just trying to, being on that show, really, it just made me, and watching the show, it just made me realize, like, we want what we want, but why do we want what we want? But yeah, listen, I'm so glad that I got a chance to talk to y'all today. Listen, please be sure to like and subscribe. This was the video for today. I got some more videos coming out. I got some more content coming out for y'all. And in the meantime, follow me on Instagram. Please follow me on Instagram at _Marks Manifestations. And I will catch y'all in the next video.